Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that's been coming up a lot recently, and that's the topic of lying. So most of us were taught when we were growing up that lying was a big, big, big deal. That it was something to be incredibly angry about, incredibly offended by, to associate with a lack of character and morals, and it's become almost the boogeyman of childhood. And the thing is, we all lie. Every human, everyone. And when we're looking at a child with a developing brain, we want to be very careful that we don't put an adult lens on a child mind, because they're grasping the concept of reality versus fantasy. And I can give you some examples. It's very easy to say, well, he knows that's not true. That might be a fact, but also there's an incredible amount of nuance to this lying. And you may be arbitrarily deciding what counts as a lie and what doesn't without even knowing it. So the first example is in our own behavior. Do we ever say, in a minute, when we don't mean a minute, when we might mean a half hour? Do we ever say, no, there's no more M&Ms, just because we don't want to give them M&Ms, but there really is some? Do we ever say things about death or birth that aren't really true, but they get us out of a difficult conversation? Chances are that you answered yes to all of those. Most parents do. And this isn't about shaming you or scolding you. It's about recognizing that lying is a valuable tool that we all use in our daily lives, and our kids are growing up in that world. All the adults lie. It's ridiculous to assume that even if kids had a fully formed brain, that they wouldn't. Their environment is full of lies. We just don't call them lies. Further examples. Do you read books to your children? Because most books that you read to young children are fiction, which is a lie. They're fake worlds, fake characters, fake stories. Okay? We read stories about animals who do crazy things and have families and go on adventures, but animals can't talk. So that's a lie. Except it's not, it's a story. Well, do you watch TV? Because cartoons are lies, except they're not. It's imagination. It's creativity, right? What about documentaries? Those are facts. And I guess you can tell because it's like real, photos and images and video. But what about when it's not real, but it is real photos and video? What about the cartoons that do have facts in them, like Wildcrafts? You start to see where this is confusing. What if you read the Bible and you teach that is fact, but the stories are just as incredible as the stories in the books that are fiction? Do you see how confusing this is when you're trying to figure it out? When you don't have a grasp on the world yet, and you don't understand yet, okay? There's a lot. There's a lot of levels. Do you manifest? Do you have a vision board or affirmations? Aren't you lying to yourself by saying things that you don't yet believe or that don't yet exist? No, you're manifesting, but it is lying by your definition that you're applying to your child, right? It's saying something that is factually inaccurate. But there's a reason to do it. There's a purpose to it. There's a value to it. So instead of labeling these little kids as bad or liars, something really ugly, let's label them as creative, imaginative, inventive, resourceful. That's a much more positive feeling about lying, right? These are little manifestors. Don't believe me? Look at the emotion behind it. Look at a 3-year-old. When you say, hey, did you finish your dinner? And he goes, yep, ate it all gone. Why does he do that? Because he wants to make you happy. His intent is to help you feel good. Could he also lie because he wants something else? Sure. He's meeting his needs. Many people associate lying with manipulation. And if we didn't have such a horrifically negative connotation to the word manipulation, a lot of shuns there for you, then sure, you could say that in a sense. You could say that, kids are figuring out how to move their world around to meet the needs that they have, by all means. But that's not what we mean when we say manipulation. When we're saying manipulation, what we mean is malice, is intent to do harm. Kids don't have that, guys. They are doing the best they can to meet their needs. If they feel like they have a need for ice cream, of course they're going to say they ate all their chicken. That just makes sense. And they really want it to be true. And they can make up stories in all of their play, but suddenly they can't about the dinner. That doesn't make any sense to them, right? When you look at it like that, when you look at them trying to meet their needs or being creative or coming up with stories, you take so much pressure off of this. It becomes almost a non-issue. So how do I handle lying? Well, step one, I absolutely do not ask a question that I already know the answer to, because you know what that would make me? A big ol' liar. If I know that you didn't eat your dinner and I ask you anyway to try to catch you in a lie, I'm lying. I'm pretending that I don't know the answer to manipulate you, and there is malice in that. Let's see if we can trap him in a lie. I'll teach him a lesson. That's malicious intent. Instead, I say what I know. Let me check your plate and see if it's empty. Also, there's a whole other topic. Kids don't need to finish their plates, but that's for another video. I get that this happens a bajillion times in families. So this is the example I'm going with because it's the example that was emailed to me 2 days ago. I know that you really want to be done with dinner because you really want that ice cream. Also, there's still food on your plate, right? I want to make sure your belly has enough variety and balance so that the ice cream doesn't hurt your tummy, right? Do you want me to sit here with you while you finish? You could say something like that. We want to be honest as often as we can. Now, are there times when the topic is none of the child's business? Yeah, we're adults. They're not. They're not where we need to be dumping our marital issues. They're not where we need to be dumping our stress with our friends, our issues with our parents, our own emotional struggles. Like all of that is an adult issue. And so if a kid asks you, well, why are you crying? You don't tell him because daddy cheated on me. Like that's none of a child's business. You might say, I'm feeling sad right now. It's okay to cry when you feel sad. I'll feel better soon. It's okay to talk about the emotion, but all of the adult baggage behind it is none of the child's business. That's not a lie. It's an age-appropriate response. Going back to asking questions you already know the answer to. When you know it's something that your kiddo doesn't want to do or isn't going to want to do, don't ask. I'm going to wash your hands. It's, time to wash your hands, whatever it is. Don't ask, did you wash your hands if 99.9% of the time they didn't? Now, of course, as they get older, yes, you can do that. But if your kid is struggling with telling you the truth, then don't ask. Just move forward. Confident leadership, right? Yes, we absolutely can have that snack. Let's wash our hands first. You wash yours, I'll wash mine. I can help you if you need help. Then it's not a question. There's no, did you wash your hands? Are you lying to me? Let me check your hands. All of this conflict and this uneasy feeling, it's not necessary. Never, ever, ever get caught up in punishing a lie. Why? Because it makes kids lie. Hello? Darwin, survival of the fittest. Self-preservation is one of the strongest instincts we have. It is infinitely stronger than, but mom doesn't want me to lie. Preserving yourself is going to always win. So don't make lying a thing that they have to be afraid of. Is that going to get rid of all lying? No. But as they develop, as their brain continues to grow and they develop those skills to fully understand the social version of lying, they trust that you are a safe place to come to. They trust that they can say, made a mistake, or oops, I forgot, and you're going to be gracious with them. That is going to eventually get you to the place where you have a very open and honest relationship, not one that never lies, because we all do. There's certain things you just don't want to share with everyone, but a much, much more open and honest one. There is no need to punish lying. There's no such thing as teaching them a lesson about lying. It's a myth. We all lie when we need to. We all have to sometimes to meet our needs. If you really want to teach them a family value of honesty, be honest, be open, be real, be vulnerable, admit when you make a mistake. Think about things, change your mind, let them know, you know what, I've reconsidered. You brought up a good point. I hadn't thought of that. I agree with you. Go ahead. Do that sometimes. Sometimes stick to your guns. I said no, bud. I know you really want it, and I'm sticking with my answer. You can be upset about it. Be somebody that they can trust. That's the best thing you can do to teach them honesty, is to model honesty. And if my kiddo is still struggling and I know, all of those things have failed, I'm in the middle of the lie right now, right? I just say, I know you wish that was true. I hear that. I hear that's what you want. You wish you were all done with dinner. I still see food on your plate. No, there's not. It's empty. Okay, I hear you. I'm not going to argue with the child. It doesn't matter. There's no need to force them to admit what I already know. I already know it. Also, if there's something contingent on that thing being finished, I'll just wait. I hear you. That's okay. I know. I understand. You really want that plate to be empty right now. I hear you, Ben. I do too. I totally get it. Just empathize with them. Give them a little space. Many, many, many times, my second, who is more creative, the more creative the child, the more likely they are to lie, because their brains have a really hard time separating fantasy and reality. And that belief of, if I want it, I can just make it so, is very, very strong in these children, particularly the engaging type of child. So that child, and then also the easygoing child, both the engaging and the easygoing child are people readers. The engaging child wants to make people happy, and the easygoing child wants everyone to be calm and peaceful. Because of that, lying often meets their need for those two things. Oh, I know what you want. I know what answer you want. I'll give you what you want. That way you're going to feel happy. Didn't I do a nice thing for you? Right? Or, I want everyone to get along. I want everything to be peaceful. This answer will make everybody feel the best inside. It's not coming from a dark and ugly place. It's not because they have flawed character. They're just kids. They're doing the best they can. And it's okay to empathize with them. What a great story. That's really interesting. I know you believe that. Absolutely. That's what you think is true. Because they do. You don't have to agree with them. And you might say that. I don't have to agree with you. That can be what you believe. I think something different, but we're allowed to think different things. Have that conversation with them. At a certain age, you'll transfer into, well, I know that the truth is this. I know that you did get the snacks out of the cupboard because you're the only child here and there's empty wrappers on the couch, right? And if you're going to do that, you better be right, because if dad comes home and goes, oh yeah, I had those last night, ooh, right? It's not about forcing our kid into our truth. It's about meeting them where they're at developmentally, not entering into a battle of wills, holding the boundaries we need to hold, and understanding that lying is kind of an arbitrary definition. All sorts of lies we pass right on by without even acknowledging. It's okay that it's hard for them to figure that out. It's okay for them to struggle with that concept. The most important thing is to be that safe place for them. So as they learn and develop their understanding of what truth is, you are the person they associate with the feeling of safety. So they can come to you and tell you those big, ugly truths when they're older, when they're in middle school and they're in high school, and they're facing things like drugs and teenage pregnancies and challenging situations. You want your kid to come to you, and they can't do that if they don't trust you. So when it feels like, oh no, my 3-year-old's lying, my 5-year-old's lying, what did I do wrong? You didn't. They're developing. Developing the skill of lying is actually a really good sign that their brain is developing properly. Take a deep breath. Know it's very, very typical. Hold the boundaries you need to hold. Don't ask questions you already know the answer to. Don't get wrapped up in punishments. Just be that safe person that they can come to. Be that calm, steadfast, respectful leader. And it will pay off in huge ways the longer you do it. So that's my take on lying. Give your kids a little grace. Know it is not a huge crime. You've got this, Mama. Thank you for being here. If you liked this video, please share it because I think this is a topic that needs a lot more attention. Be sure to subscribe down below, like this video, and leave me a comment. What is the last thing that your kid lied about? Some of them are hilarious. So let's talk about it. If you have ideas for future videos, there is a Google form down below, and you can shoot me a message with an idea that you would like to see a video on so I can add that to the channel. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.